So DJI Action 3 just got a major firmware update. So that's a fair question. I did notice a lot of people were making videos where they're showing their Action 3 footage, zooming it in all the way and showing that it wasn't in focus. And they made some really fair arguments about it. But for me, I didn't really notice it that much, and I thought maybe they just had faulty units, or maybe they were shooting in low light, and for some reason that just doesn't make it as clear. But since I've updated the firmware, I've noticed a huge difference, especially with HDR, 10-bit color, the image enhancement. It's like a completely different camera just came out. And I did look at the comments, and a lot of you were asking, but is it in focus? And well, I'm actually shooting on the Action 3 right now with image enhancement quality on 4K 30. So, how does it look?
Mr. Black.
By the way, welcome to the channel. My name is Danny Black. I love to share with you cool gear that comes my way. If you're new here, don't be a stranger. Click that subscribe button. And if I can remind you, click that thumbs up button. That really does help out the algorithm on this channel. And I appreciate all the new subscribers, so you guys have been amazing. I'll put links to all of this stuff down in the description, plus a surprise link. And also, I want to take this opportunity and tell you that I'm doing a big giveaway this month. So stick around for that. And I'm actually giving away an Action 3 and some other really great cameras. Okay, let's stay focused. Get it? So I do have two Action 3s, one without the firmware update and one with the firmware update. And I do want to try this in a variety of different ways because there's some where you want rock steady on and things like that. So we'll get into that here in a second. So we'll make sure we put it at least a foot away or 30 centimeters away, which is the minimum focus distance. This is 4K 60, no stabilization. So scale it in 400, and this is what we get. And let's go ahead and compare that to the firmware update. And side by side, you're already noticing a big difference. But now let's take it a step further. We're gonna drop them both to 4K 30. It's no stabilization, basically on a tripod, and we're gonna scale it in. We're gonna compare that to 4K 30, but with HDR on. So this is HDR, no stabilization. This looks really good. Like when you compare these two, it looks really good, doesn't it? And yes, I do have an album called Music Will Take You Everywhere. It's on Spotify, but it's pretty old. But let's just see how it looks in low light, so indoors. So this is 4K 60 frames per second. There is no stabilization on this, and we're gonna zoom it in, and let's compare that to the new firmware update. But since we're indoors, let's just adjust the ISO and let's manually adjust the shutter speed. And this is the old one. We're gonna zoom in, and yeah, it looks pretty noisy, pretty blurry. But with the new firmware update, we do 4K 30 and we can have that image enhancement on. And look at how good this one is right here compared to. Yeah, that is a big difference. And in my opinion, it's not like it's just sharpened, because here's what happens when we sharpen up the dull image from the first one. You can see that it just basically makes it noisier. So with the new one, let's add the sharpness to it and see what happens. So yeah, it's not just sharpened. They actually did something to make it look better. So let's just see how it looks when we're just hand holding it like you would normally do if you're vlogging or something like that. This is 4K 60 with rock steady, and we're just gonna go ahead and zoom in, scale in up to 400%. And we'll freeze it on my hat, and this is what you see. Now let's do this with 4K 60 but rock steady plus, since that's a new option for the new firmware update. And you can see it does look better. So with the old firmware, I want to just have it at 4K 30. So we'll scale it in, and this is what it looks like. Now let's compare that to 4K 30 frames per second with that image enhancement on. When you zoom in and put them side by side, you'll notice a big difference. So I'd suggest if you had a problem with the focus before, I would like to say that they fixed that. But you have to remember that these lenses aren't like manual focus lenses. It's an action camera designed to capture you in the world the best it can in a tiny little body. Would I like to see focus like on an iPhone? Heck yeah, that'd be awesome. But you're also comparing a $300 camera to something that's $1,000 plus. So you can't really compare it that way. But dude, if they added that, that would be a game changer for sure. But hopefully I cleared that up for you. Well, stay tuned for a massive giveaway. Also stay tuned for some other really cool content coming up on this channel. A lot of really fun stuff happening, and we're just getting started. So thanks so much for watching. See you next time.
Can we call you Uncle Blanky?
Oh.